Zombie Apocalypse.
Alright, what is going on, you guys? Bastion Waiju here. I wanted to go ahead and introduce you my Live Twin, not only just deck, but I also want to go ahead and do the quick pros and cons as I do for the new decks coming out, what I believe they're good at, what I believe they could be better at, or just what my overall just opinions on a deck before people go ahead and commit to it. So, first things first, we're going to go over some Live Twin pros, right? Not get too fluffy with it, but the first and very most important thing in the pro section for Live Twin is its sheer consistency. Now, the deck plays six starter monsters, right? That as soon as you're summoned, you can summon out the other one and you're fine. Go up on your combo, right? So 6 starter monsters, you play 3 Signet Mining, you play 3 Secret Password, you play 2 to 3 Live Twin Entrance. That alone right there is already 14 to 15 starter cards. That means almost half your deck, you can go ahead and start off your combo. So the consistency of this deck and the fact that it doesn't require any other real combo pieces is very, very appealing, right? To a lot of people, to where this deck really is just you summon Kisakil or you summon Leela, right? You summon Leela or you summon Kisakil, you special the other one by having no other monsters in your field, and then you go off and start linking. So it's really, really good as far as that goes. Of course, that leads to a few cons down the line, but I think it's very, very consistent. You know, again, 15 starter cards reminds me a lot of like it's like to me it's a mix between Trickstar and Prankid. Prankid because of its sheer consistency, Trickstar as well, but where Prankid's would be superior is it's the attack power and its boss monster, right? But let's go ahead, I'll get to that in a second, but let's go ahead and go into the second pro for the deck. The second pro, and I think something that I didn't really consider in my previous videos, is that it's very easy to learn this deck. This deck, literally, you special summon your Kisakil, you special summon your Leela, link into an Evil Twin Kiskil, right? Kiskil will go ahead and special summon Leela, or whatever the other one is, from the grave, and you link, and you go ahead and go into your Evil Twin Lila, and then you go ahead and bring the Kisakil back with Lila, and you have Lila on top and Kisakil on the bottom, and Kisakil is going to go ahead and let you draw a card because you control Lila, and then you link them both into another Kisakil, Evil Twin Kisakil, and on your opponent's turn, you special summon Lila, pop card on your opponent's turn, and that's really it. So it's very, very easy to learn this deck. So for anyone just coming into this game, I would highly recommend this deck. It's not very expensive. I've seen the pre-sale prices. I think it's like 50 cents for literally all the main deck cards except for the boss monster, but the boss monster is very mediocre at best. It's a good one-of, but I wouldn't play it more than that, like you see right here, right? So, and then the links are about 9 to 10 bucks each, so it's like 60 bucks you're spending, 70, make sure you have everything, 70 to 80 bucks, and you have literally the whole deck, because the reprinting Nightmare Unicorn, that's going to be like $1 or $2, it's going to be a rare. Borolo Dragon, which I play, is optional play it or not, I think it's like 10 bucks. Ursadia Aestram, it's not really like the most expensive card in the world. Unchained Abomination is an amazing card in this deck. Again, not really too expensive. So it's low budget and it's very easy to learn, which means I think this deck could see a lot of play and a lot of representation for anyone who is not seeking to invest a lot of money into the game but still wants to go ahead and perform at a decently and competitive level, right? And the third pro I have for this deck is that it has a lot of minor interruptions for your opponent. So there's some decks that just rely on like heavy interruption, like they'll set up like a Vanity's Fiend, or it might be or like the Buster Lock before I got banned, where it sits on that and that's literally all it does. It just sits on it, right? No, but this deck actually has a lot of interruptions, not of its own accord, but because of cards you play with it, like the Unchained Abomination, like the the Infinite Imperms. You play the Solemn Judgments. This is where I kind of see the resemblance to Trickstar. to where you make your one basic combo and then you set the rest of your hand or keep your hand traps in your hand and you pass and you just interrupt whatever your opponent's doing and you make the same board again. It's really that simple. So that's what I really love about this deck. First of all, it's very, very consistent. It's very easy to learn for anyone looking to pick up this deck. Go ahead and look up tutorials online. If you want, I will go ahead and do a tutorial myself about how to do the combos. As you know, it's very, very easy, and I highly encourage anyone just coming into the game to go ahead and pick this deck up if you're looking to go ahead and play competitively but want something to slowly start learning the game mechanics. And third is just a lot of really great interruptions. So it has a lot of really good pros for the deck. Now the cons. So the cons for the deck, first of all, it is very fragile. With its consistency, and it's, you know, as consistent as it is, and it might be, the monsters are still very weak and very vulnerable themselves. They don't have any type of protection themselves. So having a, you know, if your Light Twin, Kisakil, or Leela gets Veilered, Impermanence, Gamma, or any of those, that's it, game over. Like, you just can't continue to play. Unless, of course, you have the Live Twin Home, or Entrance, whatever the TCG is going to call it, in your hand, in which case you can go ahead and special summon another one from the deck, in which case you're fine, right? But the cards itself, I still think are a bit too fragile and very reliant on a normal summon. If you can't normal summon, that's you don't have too much to go off of. So that, I believe, it is very fragile. And the second con is it does not really have any attack power based on just the cards themselves, right? The attack power is mainly going to come from cards like your boss monster, which is the Evil Twins Kisakil Leela, which actually it's not a bad card, but I think that having your Link monsters on board is going to do a lot more than triggering them off to summon this guy, unless you just need a 400 beater, which is absolutely ridiculous. Which is the one effect of this card that really gets me is while you have a Kisakil monster in your graveyard and you have a Leela monster in your graveyard, this card gains 2200 attack and defense. It's already at 2200, making it 4400. And of course, you're going to have those two cards in the graveyard because those are the cards that you're most likely going to get rid of from your field in order to summon this guy. So I think it's a really cool boss monster, but I would not play him at more than one. It does have a really cool effect where if your opponent has more than 3 cards, you can have them send as many cards as they control to the graveyard, so they only control 2. But I don't really see that coming up too much, unless you're going to summon him turn 2, right? Because essentially, if you're making him turn 1, it's not really going to do anything, and if you're going first, you should have enough interruptions to where your opponent doesn't really have the opportunity to build up too much. So, I mean, overall, we're going to go ahead and just brief summary, right? Pros, very, very consistent. I have a lot of fun with this deck. It's really cool to play. You know, we have 15 starters in the main deck, which is ridiculous. It's very easy to learn. Like I said, I highly encourage anyone starting into the game, go ahead and pick up this deck, check it out. It's not very expensive. It's a lot of fun to play. It's a lot of minor interruptions to your opponent, so it's going to go ahead and stall and keep stalling. It's like little beads of damage, but not damage to your opponent doesn't do burn, right? And the cons, of course, very, very fragile, and has very little attack power, but a lot of decks really have little attack power now, so I don't really think that's too much of a drawback. So as long as you play your cards right, and as long as you're able to go ahead and play the deck in a smart way, you should be just fine. If you can afford Forbidden Droplets, I would highly recommend this over Effect Veiler. I just know that myself, I'm the type of player who I don't like to overspend, right? And because it's not even going to a regional anytime soon with COVID and everything, so I'm not one who's going to go ahead and drop $300 on some Forbidden Droplets unless I'm going to go to a regional tournament or a national tournament. You know, right now locals is barely open, so that's kind of my current advice to you. So if you did enjoy, go ahead and leave a gosh, I'm killing today. If you did enjoy, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and I will see y'all in the next one.